Shalom Israel, shalom, shalom. It's your boy King Hebrew coming to you live with another video. This is gonna be a quick video, real quick, man. I'm gonna bring out these quick precepts dealing with how to search for wisdom, how it says in the Bible that you must search for wisdom. Every topic I'm gonna talk about, as you see, it's all referring to the Bible. I'm not coming up with my own doctrine. I didn't come up with my own Bible, my own religion. I'm trying to sell to y'all. I'm reading from the same Bible that everybody's reading out of. Okay? And I recommend y'all get the Apocrypha on Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Get that, read that. It's a lot of wisdom in here. A lot of wisdom. A lot of wisdom in there. So we're gonna kick it off. Now in the Bible it says to search for wisdom. It's the book of Acts, right? Salakia. Thanks, 17. Okay. The book of Proverbs, chapter 2 and verse 3. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 2. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 2 and verse 3. So that thou, I'm going to start at verse 1. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thy ear unto wisdom and apply thy heart to understanding. Verse 3. Yeah, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then thou shalt understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. Verse 6. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the ways of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yeah, every good path. Verse 10. When wisdom entereth into thy heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of an evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. Verse 13. Who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of distress. To leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness. Who rejoice to do evil and delight in the forwardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they forward in their paths, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger, which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. Alright, so it's very, very important, like it says in Proverbs 2 on down, that we need to search for wisdom. We need to keep these commandments, right? We need to apply our ear every time somebody brings out precepts. You know, people love huffing and puffing. People don't want to listen to it because they feel like they're not in church. What people fail to understand is that the man, he is the temple. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to be in a big building with collection plates being passed around. Why? Because that's the narrative of Christianity, right? People feel like just because we're not in church, we are not to at all bring the truth out. We are not to bring precepts out, knowing that we are the real priests. We don't have to have a suit and tie, right? Nowhere in the Bible does it say to preach the word with a suit and tie on, right? Smell good. No, the Lord said to have on fringes, right? And to have always being able to teach people. He says go out into the four corners of the earth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get this also in the book of Proverbs. In the book of Proverbs, it said, wisdom crieth out in the streets. Wisdom crieth out in the streets. Wisdom is not nowhere in Proverbs or nowhere in the book does it say to go to church and get wisdom. When it says in the book of Proverbs, wisdom crieth out in the streets. Right? So let's get that in the book of Proverbs. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. Verse 21, she crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates, in the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit upon you. I will make known my words unto you. How is wisdom doing that? How is wisdom going to pour her spirit onto you? It says again in verse 20, wisdom crieth out. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. Now, notice, it says wisdom crieth without. She. You got to read the Wisdom of Solomon. You have to get this book because in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, Solomon is referring to wisdom as a woman. That's why it says what? She uttereth her voice in the streets. You understand? So that's what we got to understand, right? So again, it's very, very important, man, to go out in the streets. Again, don't always look for the pastor with the suit and tie on, right? In the big building, passing plates around. Right? Because for one, they're not wearing fringes. Two, they're not in the streets. They're in the building. Three, they're passing plates around, collection plates for your money. That's strike three already. So they're collecting money. They're not wearing fringes, and they're in a building. We're actually in the Bible. We have the fringes, right? We're out there in the streets, and we're giving people the true word of God. We're giving people the understanding to keep all the commandments, right? But what your pastor says that what? He says that the Old Testament is done away with, right? Why is it that what they're saying is not equaling up? It's not linking up to what the Bible's saying. They're saying contrary to everything that they're saying. They're saying everything contrary to the Bible. I mean, right? So I'm gonna go real quick to chapter 25, book of Proverbs. Chapter 25 and verse 2. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 25 and verse 2. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. That includes wisdom. You gotta, if you really need to understand, if you want to know why things are the way they are, right? Why is it that we are above everybody? We are we excel in basketball, football, fashion, you know what I'm saying? Just everything. We excel in everything. But yeah, we're still paying for everything. Mortgage, taxes, rent, right? Health insurance, car insurance, right? But we're supposed to be above all people. You understand? So with that being said, it says that it is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. We are to search out the matter. We are to go and ask, right? Ask and you shall receive. You have to search by asking yourself questions. Go to the book of Matthew real quick. Right? It's the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7. Ask. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be open. So again, we have to do our part, right? By lifting up our voice, by going out in the streets, right? But it's also your job to ask questions. If you have any questions, right? We're not running away from nothing. We don't run from nothing. We're not going to run from any questions that you may have. You know, it's our job to ask, to answer any question you have. And that's our responsibility. to make sure that the ministry is not blamed, right? That's a commandment. That's why we have to study, read, write down the precepts, memorize the precepts. We have to be on point to get ready to answer any questions. So we have our job, we have your job. I mean, you have your job, we have our job. We have to tell you who we are, but it's your job. If you have any questions, again, don't just look at us and talk shit in your mind. To get a understanding, you have to search out a matter. You have to ask so you can get a better understanding. You know what I'm saying? People don't just call you for a job. You have to what? You have to search for a job. You have to apply for a job, right? And then you do the interview, and then you come in and you give them your name, and you know what I'm saying? The whole thing gets set up. So again, everything starts with asking, right? We got everything we got. Everything we have, we got it by asking. Nothing just came to us. So it's your responsibility to ask the real prophets who are crying wisdom out there in the streets, right? Out there in the streets, right? With the fringes on. We are the real prophets, right? The real pastors and the ministers, man. Right? Giving you guys rightly dividing the word, right? So ask and it shall be found. Ask and it shall be given to you. We're not running from nothing, right? Right? Your pastor may run, you know. You can't just walk up to your pastor and just ask him any questions, you know what I'm saying? He does his little sermon and then he keeps it moving. You know what I'm saying? All praises, all praises. Let me get let's get it's the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 3. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Look at that. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask. You have to ask for wisdom. Again, it's not going to be given to you. You have to ask. If you want to know why I have these fringes on, what's this chain on my neck, I'm going to explain to you. I will happily explain to you. But it's your job to ask. It says it right there. If you lack wisdom, right? And we're going to pull out Isaiah 1:3 and Hosea 4:6, right? But it says in James 1:5, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally. Meaning the Lord's going to give it to you. It's said to just ask. But we're out here. The Lord's going to give you wisdom through us. The Lord's not going to come down from his throne. He's not going to come down personally and teach you. He's going to set up certain people he gave knowledge to, right? Then they're going to teach you. It's a domino effect, and everything you learn from us, you could teach the next person, and you could teach your sister, and you could teach your auntie, and they can teach their people. It's supposed to be a domino effect, right? You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be like hot potato. You know what I'm saying? You get it, you pass it. You get it. You know what I'm saying? It's hot. This wisdom is hot. So we got to get it while it's hot, and we got to pass it. We got to pass it, right? So if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. It shall be given to you liberally, right? No problem. The Lord's not stingy with wisdom. Anything you want, the Lord's going to give it to you, right? Because the Lord loves a man with wisdom. The Lord loves a man that has wisdom, right? So again, that's asking. We got that in that's Matthew, James. Let me get I just thought of another precept. Hold on. Any of you lack wisdom, let's get so the book of Sirach. Slacking. I'm gonna find a preset. It says The Lord dwelleth with a man with wisdom. Let me get, hold on. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the Apocrypha, right? It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 28. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. The Lord don't love the, listen, the Lord don't care about your money. He don't care about how fly you dress. He don't care about how many girls you got. He don't care about how many cars you got. The Lord said he loveth none. He loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom, man. Because wisdom is going to be the stability of our times. You understand that? Not cars. Cars not going to profit you, right? Everything that you stock up, that's why Solomon said in the book of Ecclesiastes, he says everything he worked for was vain. Everything was vain. Because everything he worked for, he had to pass it on to the next man. He had to pass it on to the next man. Right? He had to. He had to pass it on to the next man. So again, read the book of Ecclesiastes. Read I would say read the first 2 chapters, you know what I'm saying? It's not hard. It's not gonna cost, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna take too much of your day. It's only 2 chapters. But understand that this is Solomon talking about how everything he worked for, he had everything. Solomon had everything. And what did that mean? Nothing. It meant nothing. It was all vain. Right? It was all for nothing. So that's what he said. Solomon had everything. You know what I'm saying? If you know about, you know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. Let me get the book of, I'm going to stay in the Wisdom of Solomon. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9 and verse 18. For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed, and men were taught the things that are pleasing unto thee, and were saved through wisdom. Right? We are being reformed because wisdom, we're being taught and saved. Right? So once we're taught, we're saved through wisdom, because now our minds are being reformed. Right? So now we're able to apply these commandments to our life, which I'm going to get some precepts on actually doing the commandments, right? So that's very important. Right? But notice how it said, for so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed, and men were taught the things that are pleasing unto thee, right? So us, the prophets, were teaching you things that are pleasing unto you. I'm going to get that also in the book of Ezekiel. Taught the things that are pleasing unto thee, unto you, and were saved through wisdom. So our minds are being reformed because we're being taught wisdom, therefore we're being saved through wisdom, right? We're being taught through wisdom, we're being saved through wisdom. Now our minds are being reformed, right? Our minds are being reconstructed, right? It's the book of Isaiah chapter 33 and verse Slakia. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 5. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Right? The fear of the Lord is wisdom. So it says, and wisdom in Isaiah 33 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. See that? So now wisdom and knowledge. So now money is not going to be the stability of thy times. Girls, clothes, cars, right? The lavish lifestyle. It said wisdom and knowledge. That's why the Lord said he loveth nobody but him that has wisdom. And we are what? We are to keep all the commandments, man. Let's get on. Let's get James. It's the book of James, chapter 4. It's the book of James, chapter 4, and verse 11. Speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speaketh evil of his brother and judgeth his brother speaketh evil of the law and judgeth the law. But if you judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. Right? You ain't nothing but a judge. Let's get Romans. Romans chapter 2 and verse 13. It's the book of Romans chapter 2. It's the book of Romans chapter 2 and verse 13. It's the book of Romans chapter 2 and verse 13. For the hearers, Romans 2:13. For the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified. Right? For not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers, right? So not only are you a hearer, not only are you hearing about these commandments, but you're actually doing them, right? So you got all this information just to walk down the block, and now somebody ran into you talking about the NBA Finals, and now guess what? You forgot everything I just told you. You know what I'm saying? Very, very simple. Do not do that. That's a no-no. Because now you got to get taught all over again. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 11, and verse 6. Then the Lord said unto me, proclaim all these words in the city of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, saying, hear ye the words of this covenant and do them. Didn't we just read in the book of Proverbs that wisdom crieth out in the streets? Not in the building. Because the Lord said in 1 Corinthians, we are the temple, right? We are the temple of God, right? As long as I have this Bible and fringes on, right? I don't have my fringes on now. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom crieth out in the streets. In the streets of what? Then the Lord said unto me, proclaim all these words in the city of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, saying, hear ye these words, hear ye the words of this covenant and do them. Not only did he say hear, but you are to actually do them. All right? You are to actually do them. All praises to Yahweh, man. So, in the streets of Jerusalem, let me write that down. That's going back to Proverbs, man. See that? Spirit is working, man. Now, let's get John 13:17. Let's look at John chapter 13 and verse 17. If ye know these things, right? Again, you know them now. Because I just told you. John 13:17. If ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them. Happy are you if you do them. Why? Because the Lord's way is perfect. Right? His commandments are perfect. His ways are perfect. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 30. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. As for God, his way is perfect. That's why he said, keep all my commandments in Galatians chapter 3 and verse 8. Right? Keep all the commandments, right? Why? Because his way is perfect. Right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making the wise the simple. Now, we just talked about that, right? In Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 18, that now your mind is being converted. Your mind is being reformed, right? Because now you have the truth. You have the word, right? You have the real word of God right now. Right? Psalm 19:7. All right. All praises. All praises. So I'm gonna bring out so now that you have the word, it says, happy are ye. Happy are you if you do them. Right? Like I said in the book of Joshua, if you keep these commandments, what? You are going to prosper. It's the book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. If you keep all these commandments, you're going to be successful and you're going to prosper. Why? Because this book is knowledge and understanding, wisdom and knowledge. And we just read to you in the book of Isaiah, wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of thy times. Right? That's the only thing. Wisdom, right? The truth, keeping the commandments is going to help you get out of this captivity, thus saith the Lord, man. Right? So, all glory, all honor, and praises to the Lord, man, for waking us up during these last days, man, keeping the commandments. Lord's waking up certain prophets, man, to do what they got to do for the nation of Israel. You know what I'm saying? The book of the law shall not depart of thy mouth, man. In no way, shape, or form, man. Feel that? So it's very, very important that we keep these commandments. And truth is sincerity. We're not doing this for fun. We're not doing this because, you know what I'm saying, we're bored. We have a job to do. And we got to keep these commandments, man. All right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, and verse 13. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, and verse 13. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, right? Y'all love saying you love Jesus, right? So you draw near me. So you draw near to the Lord with your mouth. And with your lips do honor me, right? You always love talking about God. But have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. So men taught you everything you know, not God. Not God. Not God. Men taught you everything you know. Everything you know was taught by God. Right? I mean, everything that you were taught was taught by the precept of men, right? The Joel Osteens and the damn TD Jakes, right? With the suit and ties and all that, passing plates around, right? So they're in a building. They're not in the streets. They're in a building. They have on no fringes. They have on a suit and tie, and they're collecting money from you, man. That's strike 3, man. And they're telling you that the law's done away with when the Lord said sacrifices and offerings are no longer needed. It's not expedient. But what is expedient is you keeping all these commandments, right? The moral law, the civil law, the ceremonial law, and the dietary law, right? What's the ceremonial law? Ceremonial law is you can have multiple wives. What's that? Polygamy. Polygamy is in the Bible. It's lawful in the Bible. But they tell you that you can only have one wife. They, not the Lord, they. Speaking completely contrary to the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? And these are the same people that are saying God's coming back for this place is spiritually polluted. Okay? It's dirty, man. It's dirty. Pavements, you know what I'm saying? If you go out in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Streets is all messed up, cracks everywhere, you know what I'm saying? This place is dirty, man. Dirty, it's busted up, it's broken. This is the city of confusion, man. Right? Because nothing but hypocrites, the spirit of devils, man. Babylon the Great, meaning Babel, the city of confusion, which Isaiah talks about, man. This is the city of confusion, man. Right? This place mourneth. One breath, you said God's coming back for everybody, right? But yet, you're not keeping all the commandments. And on top of that, you're not Israel, right? You're not keeping the dietary law. God's coming back to save you, but you're eating pork. God's coming back to save you, but you believe that polygamy is a sin. It's not a sin, according to the scriptures, right? All of our mighty forefathers had multiple wives. All of them. From Abraham to King David. They all had multiple wives. If you read this law, You have to read this book. That's why it says in the book of Philippians 2:12, you have to seek your own salvation, man. These people are telling you lies, going to your face, teaching you all types of nonsense, man. They're telling you what they want you to tell you. That's why it says that you were taught by the precept of men, not the Lord. They're going to certain precepts, right, to validate their doctrine and what they believe. To have only one wife, to only keep 10 commandments, right? The law is done away with. God loves everybody. He's a so-called white man. I mean, this is their own doctrine. So they get the little precepts that they can get, the very few precepts that they can get to validate what they believe in. They've been running with those same few precepts for years, for generations, right? Because nobody really wants to read, right? This is the city of confusion, man. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 10. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction, man. People need the wine. What's the wine? This wisdom, man. This wisdom, people need it, man. People need it. But you know why nobody knows what's going on? You don't know who you are. That's why it said what? This is the city of confusion. Babylon, Babel, meaning confusion. This is the city of confusion. How is it that you're telling everybody God's Jesus is a so-called white man, the Bible is a so-called black man, right? How come you couldn't create your own Bible with your own prophets? Why is it that you're reading out of our Bible? You're persecuting us for reading out. We're reading from our own Bible. We're reading what the Bible says. And we're being persecuted because you don't want us to believe what you say. But wait a minute. You read from the same book we read out of. Because it's our book to begin with. Before it was your book, it was our book. So we're reading what the ancestors and what the Lord gave to us. Makes no goddamn sense, man. It never did. It never made sense. This is the city of confusion, the habitation of devils, man, the spirit of devils, man. These wicked ass people, man, right? But we are not only to be hearers, we are to be doers. We are to be doers of the law. Thus saith the Lord, by keeping all the commandments. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to the Lord for waking us up during these last days, man. Lord willing, you guys were edified. Giving, of course, all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh. Write down the precepts, man. Search out for wisdom, man. Search for wisdom. Ask for wisdom. Ask for it, and it shall be given to you. Shemaiah servant, King Hebrew, Nate the prophet. I love y'all. Stay safe. Pray, fast, and repent during these last days. I love y'all. Shalom.